Good evening and welcome to Anime-Zing Radio here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. As a reminder, Anime-Zing Radio is brought to you tonight by Home Circle Media for the latest and greatest in anime gear. Everything from pens, pencils,
The volume.
stationery, and officially licensed
Thank you.
art books. Be sure to check out homecirclemedia.com today or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you tonight by Casey Fox. For all of your artwork, cosplay, and photography needs, be sure to check out Casey Fox on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Anime-Zing Radio. I'm your host, Doug Inkler. Joining me in the co-host seat, as always, is our good friends Angela Rose.
Hi, everyone.
And Darren Sterling.
Who is not dead.
He is not dead yet. 3-hour show, he might.
We'll see.
And tonight we have got an amazing show. We have two fantastic guests joining us. Of course, up first, our amazing guest of honor, a gentleman. Hopefully he doesn't think we've been stalking him because we were at 3 conventions he was at this year. But we want to welcome talented voice actor Griffin Burns. Thank you so much for joining us, Griffin.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. While you were
Excellent.
walking around, it broke up a little bit, but I think that's just because of the movement.
Okay. Well, I'll stay put. I just wanted to get some more light in here. So hopefully you can see me okay and you can hear me okay.
We can hear you fine, and I know I say that hopefully you don't feel like we were stalking you because we saw you at Anime Boston, and then PucciCon we sponsored this year. And then 2 weeks before Colossal Con East, I found out that we got accepted as press, so we saw you there as well, even though I didn't come up to the table. But we were there. I'm like, he's going to think we're stalking him if he sees me at 3 or 4 cons. So
No, not at all. I feel like I'm stalking the cons. I'm doing cons so much. I'm gone every other weekend, so I'm really hitting it hard.
And for listeners out there who may not know you, it'd be surprising with how much stuff you've done and the amazing roles you've had, but tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, of course. I've been voice acting for 13 years now. You might know me from Doppio and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Akira and Devilman Crybaby, Child and Genshin Impact. Let's see, Tadano and Agretzko, Ryota and Kakegurui, Shalnark and Hunter x Hunter, and many, many others. I also do a lot of other voiceover work, commercials, radio stuff, all sorts of things. So, yeah, it's a little bit about me.
And as you said, you've been hitting the con scene hard this year. Do you feel that a lot of that has to do with how Genshin Impact has just blown up over the last couple of years?
Absolutely. Yeah. So about 1.5 years ago, I didn't really have much of a social media presence. Just to give you some numbers, like I think my Twitter probably had under 2,000 followers. My Instagram had maybe 3,000 to 4,000, and everything is just blown up. I mean, I have like 210,000 on Twitter, 800,000 on TikTok, and there's just a very big fan base. I also like to really engage with the fan base. So it's created opportunities to get out there and meet people because Genshin is so broad and it captures a lot of interest.
I mean, I think there's also part of the whole thing is this is the first full year we've had conventions as they've been I use the term loosely, regularly scheduled.
Yeah, that's very true. Good point. And since I've been doing VO for so long, but have never touched the con circuit, it seems like maybe there's a demand to have me because it's like, oh, this person's done all these roles and they've never been to our con. So it seems like a lot of places have welcomed me, which has been nice.
And I snicker about Genshin Impact because this morning I was in Syracuse, about 4.5 hours southwest of where I'm at, and of course had to get a Genshin piece.
There you go.
I played about 1.5 hours of the game, just so I knew at least something about it, rather than going in completely blind.
Yeah.
Especially we had Josie McCoy on the show a few months ago.
Yeah.
Back towards the end of July.
Okay, cool. Very nice.
And so I wanted to know your characters and get a feel for the game, and the game itself is really the visuals are stunning. The characters are great.
Yeah.
Like the whole design is amazing.
Totally. And sorry, go ahead.
No, keeping on the Genshin, it got announced recently that they're doing an anime for it, and I'm curious if it's going to be the same voice cast.
I mean, I don't think they'd be doing anybody any favors if they didn't use the same folks. I mean, in my opinion, it doesn't make sense to make it a celebrity cast because nobody would care. And since the fan base is so huge and they already know the actors, I feel I want to just use the familiar voices. But that's my take. I have no idea. I hope so.
I don't think it would, like you were saying, the fans would know that it would sound very off if they switched out your character or Amber or something like that, because you get so used to hearing those voices. And the fan base of animes and video games are, they're really smart when it comes to the stuff they like. They notice changes.
Oh, they definitely do. I have witnessed that. I came in season 3 on Yokai Watch as Nate Adams, and I remember seeing a YouTube video and people being like, "That's not the Nate we like." And then other people were like, "Oh, I like his voice. It sounds good." So it's tough to be a person takes over the role.
And that's something that we've seen a lot in the anime world, especially recently. Shows being announced, getting reboots or second season after multiple years, and different characters have to change voice actors for one reason or another. And it's crazy to see how nuts the fan base gets. But being a fan of anime, there are shows that I watch and it's like, no, that wouldn't sound right if it wasn't this voice actor.
Sure. Yeah. Yep, I agree.
And what got you interested in acting?
Well, I guess I was interested when I was a kid, but I never had the opportunity to do it because I lived in a small town in Pennsylvania. But I was always creative. I played music. I started on piano at age 5, and then I went to guitar at 11. And I was always a goofy kid, recording things on my dad's Gateway computer with the little crappy microphone, and just having fun. And I was, like I said, did music, played in bands. I didn't really know what voiceover was, but when I finished college, I knew I wanted to do something in the arts. So I moved to Los Angeles, and to cut a long story short, I kind of fell into voice acting. I got an opportunity, got an audition, and that I recorded from home using the recording equipment that I had for my band. And I booked it. And from there, it was like, oh, well, I should learn how to get more of this work. So I started taking classes and had a demo professionally produced. And then a year later, I got an agent. So that's how I got into it.
And one thing that I've always admired about the voice acting skill set, and I know every voice actors are actors, but the abilities that you guys have to bring a character to life using just your voice. You don't have a stage. You're not performing using your whole body to bring a character to life. You just really have your voice. And I think that's a skill set that most fans don't appreciate or underappreciate. Like they know your characters, they know that they like the work you do, but I don't think they understand what goes into that.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think some do, but a lot of people think it's like, oh, it's just talking, or they think that on-camera acting is real acting and voice acting is something else, which can be frustrating as a voice actor to hear when somebody's like, have you ever thought about doing real acting? You're like, it's all acting. It just happens to be that you're, like you said, you're just using your voice, and that actually makes it harder. So it's a niche performance, but yeah.
Now, how has your life changed with all the voice acting work you've done? And you've been amongst some majorly popular games and anime, including My Hero, Demon Slayer, Genshin, the Fate series. Does it surprise you how big these projects have gotten that you were a part of? Or?
Yeah, I think so. When I was starting off years ago, I had an agent that said, Griffin, you have like a good young protagonist voice. Have you thought about doing anime? And to be frank with you all, anime doesn't pay very much compared to other voiceover work as far as like the session fees. So I didn't really look into it. And people also did conventions, but I wasn't necessarily interested in doing that at the time. So to see it sort of become a focal point on like Netflix and some of these streaming platforms, and to see the fan base in person at these events, I'm blown away how popular it is and how much it's grown. I was just at Anime Fiesta in McAllen, Texas, which, I mean, we're talking way, way south, little town. There was like 20,000 people that showed up to this convention. I was shocked. And everywhere I've gone, there's a huge turnout. So I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's going to continue to gain popularity. It's become more mainstream. And I feel lucky that I got started when I did, because I see more and more voice actors who are newer, who are like trying to get into it. And it's harder to get those roles because a lot of people want to do it.
And one thing I've always been impressed about, especially going to conventions and stuff, is the excitement of the fans, especially when they walk up to your table and go, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were character such and such."
Yeah.
And that's got to kind of make you feel good knowing that they like some of your roles, even if it's not a main character. Like I like,
totally.
There's a lot of characters I like who are background characters, and I like them better than the main characters.
Yeah.
And I always have fun, especially bringing up, like, over the weekend, I had a chance to meet Christina V and get an autograph from an older anime that she voiced the main character of.
Cool.
So being able to bring up something that is maybe nostalgic for a voice actor or a character that they may not see very often has always been something that I've had fun doing. Do you enjoy seeing stuff of work that you've done that is older, or maybe not, they're not the lead character, or you're like, how did you know I was even in this? It was just like a bit part.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point in my career, I work consistently, and honestly, I've been in enough projects that when somebody brings something up, you have to kind of take a moment to recall it. And so, it'll be, maybe it's an anime that I did 7 years ago, and they'll be like, "Oh, you were this guy in this," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I was. Wow." It kind of catches you by surprise. But yeah, it's nice to see people appreciate even the smaller animes or the smaller characters.
And what's some of your favorite types of characters to voice? Do you like the villains? Do you like the heroes?
Yeah, I would say the villains. The heroes are consistent work because you tend to be in every scene. But the villains are way more dynamic, and I like to play against myself, against my personality. So to get to be evil, or I don't know, duplicitous, or like Doppio and JoJo's, or Akira and Devilman. Although he's not necessarily evil, but he plays kind of like an aggressive. He's got an aggressive presence, so it's fun to put on those character types and play around.
And that's got to be something that's fun for you too, is to be able to play outside of your personality. You get to become all these crazy characters. And I had a thought and it just
that's okay.
That happens a lot on this show.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Go ahead, Darren.
I was just agreeing.
Oh, okay. And one show that I need to really catch up on, that you were a part of, was Yashahime. As you can tell by the hat, Inuyasha was an anime that was my first anime.
Okay.
Yashahime is basically a spin-off of the Inuyasha, where Inuyasha and Kagome are the parents of Moroha, one of the characters in Yashahime.
Yeah.
What was it like to be a part of a series that, when it first came out, became really iconic?
To be honest, I don't remember which character I played in that. I'd have to look it up.
You were Nanosuke. You're one of the demon hunters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had a pretty small part in that. So I actually haven't seen any of the anime other than the like little bits and pieces that I voiced in. So it's kind of a lame answer, but I'm grateful for the job and for the audition, but I don't know it too well.
That's perfectly understandable. We know a lot of voice actors who get booked, but
Yeah.
a recording schedule or a life schedule is really busy. You don't have a chance to watch a lot
Yeah.
of the stuff that you record, and that's why I really appreciate you wanting to come on the show. I know that we did some adjustments to be able to get you on, but I'm
Yeah. Thank you.
extremely grateful that you were able to join us.
We have a question from the audience.
Okay.
Mario says, question for Griffin. What was it like working on
Agritsuko.
Agritsuko?
Gretzko, yeah, that's a really cool show. I got to work with Patrick Seitz. If any of you know Patrick, he's an amazing person and also an amazing director. If you don't know anything about how voiceover recording sessions work, I go into a studio and it's isolated. I'm not with any of the other actors, so we all go in individually to record our lines. I guess I started working on that a few years ago, or 3 or 4 years ago, and I've been lucky enough to reprise Tadano in other seasons. But it's been a great show, and I like the character, and I think it's a really cute show and relatable to a lot of people. It's fun.
And you've also had a chance to work on some longer running series, including Detective Conan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know the Fate series is huge and has been ongoing forever, it feels like.
Yeah, for sure. I've done the movies for Fate, and hopefully we'll do more on that.
Well, now, I know you said that you don't watch like Yashahime, you really didn't watch much of it. When it comes to Genshin Impact, have you played the game to see how your character interacts with others, or?
I had to play the game because of all the conventions and doing panels on Genshin. I'm like, I better know at least something about the game. So I played actually for a few months. I got to a sufficient level. I haven't played in a while, but yes, I have. I got to where my character is introduced. My character doesn't have a banner currently, so I actually don't have Child. But I heard rumors that his banner is coming back. So I might get back on there and try to get him, so I can say that I have my own character.
That's where the gotcha comes in.
Yeah, I hear you have to spend some money sometimes to get these characters.
That's one thing that I don't usually spend a lot of money on games outside of like an initial purchase. The add-ons I usually don't go for, but I know plenty of people who dump a ton of money into gacha games. One of the YouTubers that we all enjoy, Gigic, got really big into Genshin again. I think he did a stream where I think he spent like a couple $100 just to get skins.
I thought it was more than that.
It could have been 1,000. But it wouldn't surprise me with him.
I think it was 1,000.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't think he ever got the one that he wanted, to be honest.
No, I think the only... No, I don't know. I am not surprised by any of this. I had a thought and I lost it.
You were speechless by how much money you've spent on the game.
She hasn't spent any money on the game.
Oh, okay.
I'd say of the three of us, she'd probably be the least likely to spend money on a gacha game.
Unless it was a specific... When I was playing Overwatch consistently, I did spend money on a couple of specific skins. However, the money was all for charity. Everything, anything that wasn't for charity was friends had given me Blizzard gift cards for my birthday, and then I just used it on.
Nice.
Used that on skins and stuff.
So it wasn't your money.
My money totaled to about $20 over multiple purchases, but the $20 went to charity.
Not bad.
Now, do you, in your free time, do you play many games or?
I used to play a lot of Fortnite before bed. I haven't played in a long time to be honest. And with my travel schedule, I've been very, very busy. But growing up, I played a lot of games. I loved Tomb Raider. I loved Sega, Sonic, and I'd say as an adult, I played all the Uncharted's and most of the Tomb Raiders. And then, like I said, I got into Fortnite, and then I've played some Genshin. But I am not a big gamer. I appreciate them when I have time. And when I was a kid, I also loved Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Those were cool games.
You're shaking your head. Man.
I do not. Horror is just not my thing, and I'll admit, on a road trip, everybody else wanted to watch the Resident Evil movie, and I slept. I ended up sleeping through it.
It's not your genre. That's okay. I need a friend to play those games. I can't play them by myself. So,
if you're gonna have jump scares, you want somebody else to be scared with you.
Exactly. That's the caveat. It's like I can't play it by myself.
Give me something with a good story, and I'm in.
How about, did you play The Last of Us?
I did not. I've watched enough of it, and we're actually my husband and I are actually looking forward to the series.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that game was fantastic. That was really cool.
Now, with your convention schedule increasing like it has,
has
it been tough to adjust to be able to accommodate your life schedule between traveling for conventions, all the voice acting work, plus having a normal life outside of everything?
Yeah, totally. Oop, I hit my headphone there. Yeah, it has been an adjustment. You know, I've have to put off some social engagements because I'm not here. Work-wise, I'm able to schedule. Oftentimes, I'm asked a week or so in advance for session work, so I can sort of schedule that during the days that I am home. So that's not really an issue. But it takes a toll. I'm not going to lie. When you get back from a 3 or 4 day trip and you've been on and engaging with fans the whole weekend, I love it. But you are pretty fried afterwards. So it takes me a day or so to really recover. But yeah, hopefully that answers the question. It's an adjustment. It's very fun, and it's a great way to see the country, and it's exciting. But there are some cons to it. No pun intended. There's some pros and cons to going to cons.
And question that just came in from the chat room from Space Cow regarding the Fate Grand Order: is there a different approach to playing a character like Fujimaru and seeing their progression in long-running series?
Is there a different approach to playing a character? Well, the thing with any show you work on, whether it's 12 episodes or 1,000, is that when you go in for these, you're always seeing the context of your lines. So they're always going to play you the scene down, and what that means is they're going to play you the scene so you can hear the Japanese and you can understand what's going on. So you're always making informed decisions. And in addition to that, they play a reference file so that you're locked into the voice. So it's not really, I don't need to see all of the episode or the movie to kind of gauge where I'm going to go with the performance. You kind of know where you're going to go naturally just based on the context of the scene and with the director's help. And that's part of, being skilled at voiceover and having experience, is that you can keep a consistent character and also have it grow, as the plot progresses.
How often do you investigate the material for something you're working on? Has anything ever interested you or piqued your interest enough to go into the source material, be it the manga, light novel, or at least looking up the Wikipedia for a particular show?
The research that I do tends to be for auditions. So if I get an audition for a video game franchise or a cartoon, and I don't know what the style of the cartoon is, I'll go on YouTube and I'll watch clips of it and try to gauge, like, okay, is this a grounded performance? is it kind of like The Last of Us, or is it more like anime, which is more dynamic? So that's kind of the extent of the research I do. I've never read any manga or dug deep on any of the anime shows I've worked on. I tend to let the director kind of fill me in on the project and what I'm up for. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Now, with you attending a lot of conventions as a guest now, are there any times when you're at a convention and you get starstruck, or you're like, oh my God, it's so and so?
Most of the people I've been around at the conventions are people I've worked with before or know personally, so not really. I have only been starstruck once in my life, and it was when I was new to Los Angeles, and I used to valet cars, and I worked at back when they were together. I worked at Gwen Stefani and Gavin Rosdale's house, and I was a huge Bush fan, and that was Gavin Rosdale's band, and I met him, and I said something really stupid when I met him. So.
It's nice to know I'm not the only one that says stupid things when I meet people.
It was the dumbest thing. I was so embarrassed. I was trying to tell him that I liked a song off of one of his early records that not a lot of people knew. And instead of saying the title properly, I said, "Oh, I love your song, All the Small Things," which is a Blink-182 song.
Yep.
He looked at me and was like, "Well then, nice to meeting you." And he walked away. So I was really embarrassed.
And for those of you watching that don't understand, and I know I've talked about it before, the first time I met Griffin at Anime Boston, we were all standing outside waiting to be let into the press room to do the press interview.
Oh, right, yeah.
And we all had masks on, and I didn't realize that it was Griffin standing beside me. And so without thinking, I'm like, oh, what press outlet are you with? And you're like, oh, I'm Griffin Burns. I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot.
No worries.
Good job.
Yep.
It's funny.
That was definitely a moment.
That was definitely a me moment.
It makes for a good story.
It does.
Yeah. No big deal.
And one thing that's impressed me about you as a person, seeing you at these conventions, especially like PucciCon in New Jersey, where we were tabled a few tables down from you, is how you interact with the fans. You love getting to know more about the people who love your work. And that's a side of the voice acting world I don't think a lot of people understand, is that you guys genuinely love the people who love your work and make it possible for you to have these opportunities.
Oh, absolutely. It lights me up inside to meet people at these events. And, all the work that I do tends to be in a vacuum. You see this booth behind me. I mean, literally, this is where a lot of this work comes from. It's in by myself in a booth. So to go from this in my house to a convention where, hundreds of people are like, I love what you do. It's really rewarding and satisfying to know that, what you're doing in this small space is being, heard by many.
At this point, where everything is maybe sort of kind of starting to get back to normal, how much voice acting do you do in a home studio versus in an actual studio?
Sure, good question. I would still say about 95% is from home. I do have some sessions coming up this week where I am going to be out of the studio, but it was by choice. They asked me, "Oh, do you want to do it from home or do you want to go in?" And I haven't gone in anywhere in a while, so I was like, "Yeah, why not? I'll go to the studio." So often it's by choice. Still, I have a feeling that for the future, a lot of people are going to always have the option of recording from home if they want to.
And I know with a lot of the voice actors that we've talked to on the show, there was a huge adjustment when the pandemic first hit with having to create home studios.
Yes.
Not everybody had a studio built. Tia Ballard, I think, put a video out showing off her home studio, which was a closet that she converted. And, knowing how you guys as actors had to adjust to something new, was it a big issue for you to have to go fully home studio, or did you already have the studio built?
Yeah, I was one of the, I don't know how many there were, but I was one of the smaller minority that had the booth, and I had all the studio equipment. I started voice acting in 2010, and I think I stumbled upon I did a job for an audiobook, and it was a nightmare to record from home. So I bought plans, $50 plans online for how to build a booth. And my dad, who lives in Pennsylvania, my parents are visiting, and I said, Dad, can you please help me build this booth? So we went to Lowe's and bought $1,000 worth of supplies, built a booth. And so I've been doing home recording for many, many years. I did, however, upgrade some equipment. I was like, yeah, I'll get a better microphone and some other stuff, but I was prepared. So it was an easy transition.
Go ahead, Darren.
No, I'm still adjusting.
Not used to the 7 o'clock start.
No, remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Darren is recovering from an injury.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. About to say, you don't realize how much of your body you rely on until you lose a part of it.
Oh yeah, even if it's just a toe.
Well, I've been there too, but I've pulled a muscle in my chest over there close to the heart.
Oh, ouch!
Ooh.
Wow, that
Yeah,
sounds
so
painful.
my whole left side hurts.
Oh no!
Ow! I am so sorry.
Yeah, he told me before the show that he is basically bedridden, and a friend of his is gonna let him use one of his employees to do the yard work while Darren is trying to heal.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
speedy recovery, Darren.
Yeah. Likewise.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I know health stuff is not fun.
Very
Now-
much so.
Now, what has it been like for you to be with the conventions coming back? How many cons have you done so far this year?
I don't have a count on hand here, but I'm gonna guess that, let's see, we're in October and I've been doing about 2 a month. I would say
wow.
I've done almost 20, and then by the end of the year it'll be about 24, 25.
Oh my gosh. I know you have DerpyCon coming up, unless that's already passed. I don't know.
No, you're right. It's coming up. That's my next one. I cleared most of October. My birthday's coming up, so my folks are coming into town. Not traveling anywhere until the end of October. We've got DerpyCon, and then following NicoCon in Virginia.
You're gonna be close-ish to me in
Okay.
Virginia.
Cool.
I have to
Yeah,
say,
we're all spread all over the place.
just one
Yep.
state, just one state north.
So you're in North Carolina?
Bingo.
Okay.
Right around the Raleigh area.
Oh, nice. My sister just moved to Winston-Salem. She moved her whole family there from the West Coast.
Okay.
Angela's up in Boston,
Nice.
and I'm up in North New York. And when I
North
say
New-
north, I am like 40 minutes from the Canadian border, across the
Oh.
lake from Burlington, Vermont.
Wow. Okay.
People know Burlington, they don't know the town of Plattsburgh.
I'm from Pennsylvania originally. Well, I actually was born in North Carolina, but I was raised in Hanover, Pennsylvania. It's near Gettysburg.
Okay.
Okay.
Roughly where in North Carolina?
I was born in Winston-Salem, where my sister ended up moving.
Okay. I know that Winston-Salem was one of the big field trips we had in elementary school for the Amish people, if I remember correctly. Because there was like an old part of Winston-Salem that was still mostly traditional Amish culture.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
I think it's called like Old Salem.
Okay, cool.
And I have family in Pennsylvania. My mom grew up in a small town called Hummelstown, which is just outside of Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's very close to where I live, or where my parents live.
and they live in, my mom and older sister now live in Reading, so we've been out there a few times.
Yep, I'm familiar with Reading.
So CCE must have felt kind of like a homecoming for you when you were able to get back to Pennsylvania for Colossal Con.
Yeah, it was nice. Weather was beautiful. My parents were able to drive up and see me for a couple days. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. And that was our first time at Colossal Con. Did you get a chance to enjoy the water park at all, or?
No, I tried to, but it was a little difficult trying to remain anonymous at the park. So I get tired, and I kind of like to just wind down on my own at the events. So I just pretty much stuck to myself and had dinner and called it an early night most nights.
I can understand that, especially where you have become more popular, and I've seen your line grow at these conventions. So many people seek you out because of the work you do, that I can understand that there are times when it's like, okay, autograph sessions are done. I have no more panels. I just need me time.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Over the course of the year, with you having been to so many conventions, have you noticed the growth from like the first convention you did this year up to the more recent ones, like of the fan base, of the attention?
Well, that's a good question. Some of the events along the way have been smaller, so it's kind of hard to gauge. But I would say in general, Genshin continues to get more popular. And my audience has grown, and a lot of people know me from TikTok. So I'd say like 80-90% of the people that come up to me are like, I know your content on TikTok, and that's actually how I discovered Genshin or your character. So it seems to be growing. Yeah.
What's TikTok?
What's TikTok?
I don't use TikTok, so
I don't either, but my wife does, so I get to see the clips that she finds funny.
Yeah, well, it's a slippery slope. I mean, you can waste a lot of your time on that app. So if you don't know about, if you truly don't know about it, or you just don't have it, good for you. It's integral to my business and my brand and everything, so I have to use it. But honestly, if I wasn't doing those things, I probably wouldn't be on it.
And of course, my wife in the other room heard me talk about that she watches TikTok, and I get messages. You talking about me? No, just your funny. TikTok edition.
Yeah.
No.
I suffer from the YouTube rabbit hole.
I'm the Facebook rabbit hole. And especially since they added Reels, which takes some TikTok, some Instagram, some Facebook, and kind of jumbles them all together. I mean, they kind of play the same algorithm. So one minute I'm watching a video about finance, then entrepreneurship, then anime, then back to finance and something else, and back to anime.
I suppose I'm the old school one that tries not to waste too much time on social media.
Well, don't forget, social media is how I also market my business too.
I also, when I spend too much time in front of a screen, if I'm not careful, I end up with migraines.
Yeah, there's a lot of downsides to looking at a screen all day. I picked up Duolingo not recently, but I'm on a 70-day streak with French. And although I do think it's really good for my brain to learn a language, it's more screen time because it's on my phone.
Yep.
So, and I'm being rewarded with little dings and things like that.
If you want to learn Spanish, just go get a job at your local fast food joint. You'll pick up real quick.
Depending on where you are, because that's how I learned Portuguese. The area I was working in at that point was very, very Brazilian.
Oh, cool.
Well, about to say, because I've learned more in the few years of working at my fast food job as a manager than I ever learned in 3-4 semesters in high school.
Yeah, real world experience.
And Ross in the chat says, "Whoa, Griffin did the voice of Yuma in Shining Resonance. Cool, that's a good game."
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Yuma Ilvern. I recorded that a while ago, probably 6 years ago. It was through a studio called Cup of Tea that Patrick Seitz, who I mentioned earlier, he introduced me to that studio. So yeah, it's a lesser known game, I feel, but pretty cool. And I got to voice the lead.
And Mario also was excited that somebody else knew Shining Resonance. So some of our loyal listeners enjoy your work from way back when.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And Snowplays is saying Dragon Ball is mentioning Dragon Ball GT.
Oh wow!
Am I in that?
I watched GT, so I'm really curious as to what character.
I'm
not seeing it listed anywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if I'm in there.
I don't know either. I just assume
Dragon Ball I have
a thing I know.
I have Anime News Network up with the stuff that you've done and behind the voice actors just for the visual aid of the characters, and I didn't see it listed on either. So
okay, then I might not be in that. But I appreciate somebody thinks that I am in it.
I mean, we were talking about it. You've been in some iconic shows. Some of the biggest shows that are out right now. Attack on Titan. You were Cult.
Yeah.
And
Colt Grice.
Colt Grice. I know Angela's a big Attack on Titan fan. Demon Slayer.
Yeah, Moichiro, and his arc hasn't even started yet. Which has been interesting at conventions because people still want the autograph for Moichiro, but I've literally said like one line in that show so far. That'll change in season 3, whenever that comes. But
that's one I have to go back and finish.
Yeah.
Demon Slayer is one I watched a few episodes and then got super busy with Life, the Universe, Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then never went back to it.
And for you, Darren, I know you enjoyed My Next Life as a Villainess, All Roads Lead to Doom. He was Gerardo.
Yeah, Jordo Stewart. He was always obsessed with Katarina.
I forgot to. Well, I think I started season 2 and forgot about it. But if anything, there's a couple in here that I can comment on. Sariel from the 7 Deadly Sins.
Okay. Yep.
The angel.
Yep.
And then the other two of these are a real surprise. You played in Dora Hetero.
Yeah.
That was one of the more underrated, lesser known, trippy, weird anime.
Yeah.
But still really good.
Yeah, I saw a lot of clips from that. It was definitely a little bizarre.
One of the ones I enjoyed that you've done, which I was actually surprised by how underrated it was here in the States, was Platinum End.
Oh, that was probably one of the last anime I worked on. I voiced Metropolitan. Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize that I voice him because it's a little bit different than different tonality than I usually do for most roles. It's like deeper and a little more evil.
Speaking of evil, probably one of my top-rated shows in terms of quality. You were a part in at least the Netflix dub of it, and that's Vinland Saga.
Oh no, that's a good one. And I was really lucky to voice Canute in that one. That's a good role. I was happy to have that.
That whole series was like, my friends talked about it when they were all reading the light novel together.
Yeah.
Or the manga, I forget which. I'm pretty sure it was a light novel. But that in general was a good series. Askeladd was probably one of the biggest anti-villains / villains, or one of the best written villains I've seen in anime in general.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I know that you said you only had about half hour to 45 minutes to join us. We're about at the 45-minute mark. But before we let you go, we like to give our guests a chance to promote themselves. Any social media shows or conventions that you have coming up that where people can find you. We call it our shameless plugging section, and the floor is yours.
I really appreciate that. Well, the first thing I'll tell everybody is that I'm doing a Streamily signing this coming weekend. It's October 14th through the 16th. It's a Halloween signing. I have 2 new Halloween prints that are Genshin child related. And then I have all my other prints still available. But that's going on. It'll be live on TikTok, 1 p.m. Pacific time each day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you'd like to follow me on TikTok, it's my Griffin Burns. On Twitter, it's the same. My Griffin Burns. No, sorry. Twitter is at the Griffin Burns, and Instagram is also my Griffin Burns. Let's see. I'll be at DerpyCon in New Jersey, and then the following weekend I'll be at NecoCon in Virginia, and then later this year I'll be at YamaCon, which is in Tennessee, and Holmat, Holiday Matsuri in Orlando. So hopefully I will see some of you there.
Awesome. And I thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us for a little bit tonight. It's always great to see you at the event. Hopefully we get to see you more next year up here in the Northeast.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure, and glad I got to get to know all of you a little bit better.
Yeah, glad that you were able to come on. And anytime that you want to come on to promote upcoming work or things like that, feel free to reach out. We would love to have you back.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Have a wonderful night. Have a good night.
You too.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
And that was Griffin Burns, everybody. He was our first of 2 guests tonight. Fun chatting with him. Good guy. I really enjoyed having the chance to chat with him. And you and I got to talk to him a little bit at PucciCon.
Yep. Granted, I think at that point I might have just been ball of anger, because that might have been when I was dealing with my food being stolen. Uber Eats decided to not deliver my food. I was angry.
That's Uber Eats and DoorDash in general, I have animosity towards, just because of the industry I'm in.
I don't think it was at that point yet, because when we really had a chance to talk to him was when he was eating lunch at the table beside us, because Aaron Campbell wasn't there on Saturday.
No, you might be right.
Because our Uber Eats, I think, was after that.
No, my whole thing, I try to avoid using the apps for delivery, but PucciCon was in an area where that just wasn't an option.
There was no Jimmy John's?
Nope. No Jimmy John's, no Jersey Mike's, nothing within like 2 miles outside of the Starbucks in the lobby of the hotel.
Which I'm sure cost you an arm and a leg.
Not the worst I'd experienced, but yes.
And I know that we've all had interesting weeks. I promoted going to Retro Game Con this weekend, which my first time at a gaming convention. I think I made it, all the hype that I'd been seeing online, talking to people. New York's largest gaming convention. I think I was expecting it to be bigger than it was. Not being press, I didn't feel the need to go back today. I did purchase, of course, me being me, I got a couple of autographs, bought an art piece, no figures. There was only 2 places that had any anime-related figures whatsoever that weren't Funko Pops. And like you were saying, Angela, expect there to be mostly retro game vendors, and there was a ton of that.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I need to add a couple more games to my collection. Up until the Switch, I was in the middle of trying to collect all the original Pokemon games, and the few I fell short on were ironically some of the most expensive.
Yep.
And that would have been fire red, leaf green, and I think I want to say ruby. Like all of those late GBA games are like ridiculously expensive. They held their value and then some.
Yep. There's one Fire Emblem game for the GameCube that I wish I'd picked up. But now trying to find it, it's like $100.
Speaking of which, the other things, speaking of a GameCube, the thing I wish I could find is a GameCube with a functioning Game Boy port that's added on to the bottom of it.
We have a GameCube kicking around here somewhere. I don't think it's been turned on in 4 years.
Well, I remember one time I went to the beach with my friend. He was doing a project on the Wright brothers, and it was like an Airbnb style or just a like one of those rental houses on the beach.
Yeah.
And in it was a Nintendo 64, and it had the Nintendo 64 Smash Bros.
Yep.
So me and him spent quite a bit of the weekend that we had there trying to beat it. And of course, us being Pokemon fans at the time, predominantly picked Pikachu. And we never beat the Master Hand, but I did get it down to like the last 10 HP or so before it finally killed me.
Nice. No, I did play the N64 Smash Brothers. GameCube Smash Brothers is what we did in college.
My friend showed me the Smash Brothers on the Wii.
Yep.
I think I made it up to where Rayquaza was one of the bosses. And after that, his party had basically shifted to something else at that point in the night.
Nope, I basically we had Smash Brothers for the Wii, we had it for the Wii U, we had it for the Switch. However, my husband has a group of friends that take those games way too seriously, so I play like 5 minutes and then nope, I'm done.
I have never played Smash Brothers. One thing that was cool about the Retro Game Con was getting a chance to meet the guy who created Rampage.
Nice.
Brian Collin was there, got a chance to talk with him, got his business card. May reach out to him in the future about being a guest on the show, because I think it would be really cool to talk to the guy who created a game that I probably spent hundreds of dollars and hundreds of hours on. Because I know there was an arcade not far from me growing up that had Rampage, a quarter a play. I would bring a roll of quarters, so $10 in quarters, and just dump it all in that game. And then when it was available for a console, I bought it for the console and dumped. I probably put more hours into Rampage than most people put into Final Fantasy.
I put 300 something hours in my Pokemon game. I mean, how many did you really think you put in there?
Easily between 500 and 1,000.
Wow.
That was a game that I sat and would play 3-4 hours a night, every night. Just because it was fun to destroy stuff.
I got nothing. The amount of hours I have put into certain video games is ridiculous.
Pokemon was my main, and then I believe Super Mario for the Nintendo DS, like the very first one that came out. I think I managed to unlock every single thing on that. And that took quite a while by itself. And when it came out for the Wii, I never got to play, except for when my friend had it. So.
As a program reminder, we will be having a second guest joining us in a little bit. An up-and-coming VTuber, Kaaya Tyanu, is going to be joining us. Kaaya is a friend of mine that we have hung out with at multiple conventions. They are going to be joining us.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil.
I think I fixed it. I figured out how it works. How I can actually do this right.
We were just saying how you were going to be joining us in a little while, so your timing was spot
Perfect.
on.
All I did was change the camera settings so it picks up OBS. Easy.
Nice.
Yay!
So, welcome, Kaaya. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you.
And I know that you are the first VTuber that we've actually had on the show. Not a lot of us know much about VTubing, so I thought it would be fun to bring somebody on who does know VTubing. And in honor of knowing how much you are a fan of the idol animes, I had to bring out Kochiri for the show tonight.
And the audience loves your avatar.
I figured Kochiri was better than this one.
Oh, God.
Which Nico was within a reach, but I was like, I'll give Darren a break so he doesn't have to stare at Nico all night. And I thank you so much for coming on. And for people out there who don't know much about the VTuber world, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I just started VTubing. It's been a long project. Pretty much a year or more. Just started when I started watching Nanners. I'm like, I want to do this too. I used to stream with my face, and I don't know. I just don't like people seeing me IRL.
That's understandable. There's a lot of people out there that would prefer to have an avatar or something like that.
Yep. It's a lot easier to stream with an avatar.
And like Angela was saying, everybody says your character is really adorable, and you're streaming on, is it primarily Twitch that you stream on?
Yep.
And what nights can people find you?
I don't technically have a schedule. I stream when I have time, unfortunately. But it's mostly at night after 4 p.m. EST.
And I watched a stream you did earlier this week where you were streaming with some other VTubers. Have you found a fun community of other people to hang out with? And I know that it's growing.
Yep. So that was actually with siblings of the rigger I chose that I was streaming with, and we have a little Discord we all talk in. We may be having another collab at some point.
That's
It's a
cool.
very, very fun game. Might be a little more chaotic than Played Up.
Because you played, it was called Plate Up?
Yep.
Which is like a cooking game where you have to work together. People are cooks, and you're working a restaurant basically. So it's like Darren's Life, the video game.
So kind of like Overcooked, but part not.
Yep. Pretty much almost the same as Overcooked.
It was interesting to see, and they did a better job than some of the other YouTubers that collab to play that game did. I don't know if you saw the video that I sent you, but they made a mess of things.
Yep.
Now, what really piqued your interest in the world of VTubers? Was it your love of idols, which you got? I know they're Holo Live. Are those the VTubers who also do singing and stuff?
Actually, I watch more Ninjazaki. So I watch Rosemi, all those girls. Like Holo Live, I know Gura, but I don't really watch most of them. And my first VTuber was Nanners. I would say what got me into it was just the idea of not showing your face on stream, just using an avatar.
And with your avatar, you have a lot of work that went into it, where you can do different facial expressions, and I've been seeing the ears are moving, and
There are cheaper options. You don't have to do what I did, but it took me almost 2 years to save for this, so don't do what I did. There are a lot cheaper options out there.
I also think for the person, I think it depends on exactly what you want for your avatar. You know, it's almost your way of cosplaying.
Yep.
So there are people who have dumped thousands of dollars into a cosplay. You chose to put money into making an avatar for the VTuber world.
Yeah. I had concept art made at first, and then I took that concept, gave it to another artist, which made the model. Then you got to take the model, give it to a rigger that then rigs it.
And then
I can show you something here. Like, these are all the toggles for all my... And the amount of physics that's actually in this model, amazing.
And Space Cow actually has a question for you. Do you have any advice for someone looking to start VTubing? I actually just finished my own model design, so I'm super excited you're here.
Search for an artist that you like the style. Don't just pick any artist. Take time and actually look for an art style you like. Because once you have the model made, you can't really change it, the art style. If you pick an art style that you don't like, you're going to have a model you're not going to like. That's my one big advice. Because it took me a long time to actually find my artist with the art style I actually liked and agreed with.
And the question I have for Space Cow is, I know Space Cow is an artist themselves. Is it your own art, or did you have your character? Do you want your character designed by somebody else? Because if it's the Space Cow that I'm thinking of, they're an artist that's local to northern New England, New York area. We've seen them at a few conventions.
If they're looking to actually make a model that's layered, there is, I would have to actually ask my artist, there are sources that they'll help you, because you really need to know how to layer the model correctly so it can be rigged.
And Space Cow says that it is their own art and doing research into rigging it themselves as well, though it's super intimidating.
It can be. But the community is very helpful. Personally, I would just ask around. Like, Smooth Shading is the one who rigged my model. He's always helpful.
And with your model, you can do a lot of different things. Oh, we lost Darren.
Aaron's gone.
He finally died.
I can make my tail go up. Let me move my model.
Because I know that you had sent me a video. You were having way too much fun making your character dance.
I can give myself whiplash doing this, or I actually have it set so this is how much it takes a long time for my model to load. This is so my mouse controls the movement.
And one of the cool things with the VTuber side of stuff, especially like on Twitch, you see the interaction where people can like throw stuff at you. I know during your collab, one of them had candy corns and pumpkins and all sorts of stuff thrown at them during the broadcast, and lots of randomness.
Let me see if this works. You can't see that, can you?
No, we saw it.
Oh, okay. So you saw all the little Kaayas?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, here's Darren. Welcome back,
Yeah.
Darren.
My internet apparently had a hiccup, and when it did, it gave me the still connected but dropped. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which is rare because my internet almost never does that.
And right after you left, Ross said, "Rest in peace." We're like, "Oh, there goes Darren. He died."
No, didn't die. My internet killed me.
Same idea.
Also, sorry I had to step away, but Matt actually showed up unannounced because he's the one that I'm going to trash taste with tomorrow night.
Oh, sweet.
Excellent.
So give me just a few minutes and I'll be right back.
Not a problem. And now I know, Kaaya, that you are a huge Idol fan. As I mentioned earlier, I brought out one of the Love Live girls because you're an Idol fan. What got you interested in the Idol world?
Oh, this is going to bring me back. So I got into idols back late 2009, 2010. This was back. I was just searching online and I found out there was like an idol group. I knew about AKB48. It was called Love Live. I was like, oh, what's this? I just kept reading about it. So it didn't come out to the States till later. I had to dig for videos of it. Didn't find anything until the anime came out, and then it came bigger. But mostly from that, I watched Idol Masters and got really hooked into idols.
And I know that I've made reference to my friend who is like the Idol master. And if I have a question about idols, you are the one that I go to.
Yep.
And in fact, for all of you who were laughing at me for Shine Post and saying that it's a much better Idol anime than Love Live will ever be, this is the person who's like, check it out and tell me what you think.
Oh, it reminds me of Idol Masters so much because it's more of the business side of it than just having. The Love Live's more like having fun, singing, and then Shine Post, Idol Masters is the whole business side of it, which is a lot deeper. Like they do struggle, not easy.
That's one thing I think I liked about Shine Post so much more than Love Live is you get to see these girls and they're not trying to save a school, which it seems like every Love Live is. We're trying to save our school or grow our school or da 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 da. Understanding that Love Live is a school idol, contest anime show, but the business side and seeing the real world struggles that these girls go through, I think a lot of people could relate to some of the issues that they're trying to overcome. And I know I'd sent you the video clip of Yellow Rose, which hands down my favorite song from the series. Granted, there's still 2 more episodes for me to watch, but because Crunchyroll doesn't have them yet, or High Dive doesn't have them yet. I'm sorry. High Dive doesn't have them yet. But it's definitely like it has a really good storyline and the music's fantastic. But Yellow Rose blew me away when they had Rio sing it. I wasn't expecting it to sound as good as it did.
That show definitely impressed me.
So if you're into the musical animes, check out Shine Post. If you're not big on like Love Live or things of that nature, I would say still give Shine Post a chance. Just because it does have a good storyline, it's got some good world building in it, and the music is fantastic. And I'm a sucker for good music in animes.
Ross is saying that oh, stupid computers not being uncooperative.
I've always wanted to watch Idolmaster, but don't know where the series starts, as at their too much Idolmaster series.
Issue with that is you can't watch them all. So I would actually still have to. I would have to look. Cinderella Girls would probably be the one you would have to watch, because I'm not sure if original Idol Masters is available.
And Ross says the best idol anime is Ongaku Shoujo, or Music Girls as it's known.
Yeah, even Crunchyroll doesn't have Idol Masters anymore.
Yeah. The joys of anime being more mainstream is that there's so much available. The downside of so much being available is when you really want something and it's not. And you have to resort to the old days.
Yep. Oh, I gotta go dark with everything.
And Ross says, I'm weird but curious. Have you ever wondered if avatars get cold in skirts and dresses in this type of season, knowing that we're entering fall, winter?
Actually, too. Like, my character actually has clothes, other than there are avatars out there that don't have. Mine's probably a little less revealing.
And you said you want to have some other outfits made for her as well.
Yeah, at some point, everything shakes on this little ribbon in the middle. Ariga did such a good job.
That is very impressive, and there's a lot of really good VTubers out there. There's a couple that I watch. Some are well known, like Shy Lily isn't as well known as Iron Mouse, but I like watching both of them. Shy Lily's more known for some of their questionable clips that are out there.
No, the only one that I've actually seen is Luke Jin. Because that's one my husband watches, and I will it'll be on in the background while I'm at my computer gaming. Because tiny living room.
There was definitely a video that was put out recently, a clip from Shy Lily of her talking with other VTubers, answering questions, and we'll just say that some of the content is more 18 plus than what we should put out on here, but there was talk that involved cucumbers and screwdrivers.
Lewd tubers. Which is true, that some people go that route and some people just go normal.
And that's one thing that I've wondered is, knowing that the world of VTubing, you're able to change so much. You can put an image up there. Some people use voice changers, so you don't get to hear what their actual voice is. And it makes me wonder how many of the VTubers out there that, like for Shy Lily, a lot of the lewd stuff and comments that the character makes, is that just a falsified persona and the person's more laid back? Is that what they actually sound like, and things of that nature?
How can I put this? Don't think they are like that, because there are a lot of YouTubers that don't act like they do. You just put on a persona as into their character.
That's what I figured, but it's still like one of those questions that pops in the head. It's like, is it something that they actually, like, stuff that they talk about, that they actually do that, or is it just an act they put on to keep the viewers coming back to be like, hey, what are they? Um, uh, God, I got distracted.
Yeah, I'll have to send you the video of Yuka Bear because the way she sounds on stream and how she sounds IRL is completely different. Like really different.
And Ross said, Kaaya, your ears are confusing me. Are you supposed to be a cat girl or bat girl? You're a
Girl.
cat girl. I think Ross, you missed when he was when Kaaya was showing off her tail.
I have a tail. Can go up and down too.
Which that is really interesting. How, like you said, you had somebody help you out get some really cool rigging.
Yeah, it's actually weird because I used a suggestion from my artist for riggers, and I just picked him, and his work looked really good, and I'm very impressed with what he did. And he was actually really impressed with the art. It was actually done and layered very well.
Now, when it comes to having the art done, talking about the layers, there's multiple layers that have to be done that can change the facial expressions and things like that, right?
Yeah, so like the eye isn't drawn as one. There are layers in the eye.
That is crazy.
Like I wish, like I don't know how to open a PSD, but the PSD file, everything needs to be layered.
PSD being the Photoshop native file.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is the file I can never give to anybody because it's basically access to my model.
I've done some. I am not an artist by any means, but I've played a little bit with minor editing in Photoshop, and some stuff I've seen how crazy layers can get.
And knowing artists who do a lot of digital artwork, I know that there can be a lot of layers when it comes to doing the digital artwork as well. There are times when I'll hear Casey talk about, oh crap, I put that on the wrong layer, and it's like, oh, she meant to put something on layer 15 and put it on 12 instead, or
And then naming it right too. That's one thing a lot of the riggers say. Just you got to name the layers correctly. If you don't name them right, it doesn't work.
Yup.
and I know, like everybody has said, and the artwork, like I said, is fantastic, and you have such a cute avatar character. Um, I, I know when you first really had everything set up, like I said, you had sent me a video saying you were having way too much fun with it. Are you still working on figuring out the persona and everything that you want to give to Kaaya, or are you just going to pretty much just be yourself?
I'm just gonna be myself.
Which, like I said, everybody's got different ways of doing it. This gives people more of a chance to get to know Kaaya for who Kaaya is, as opposed to an act or something like that.
And a lot of the tracking on this, so this is done with an iPhone. I use an iPad. And a lot of tracking I'm doing, like my facial, you can't do with a webcam. So I use the debridger with iMocap tracking on my iPad. I can do like puffy face and all that. You can't do that with a regular face cam.
Because the technology's not there.
Yeah, it's just the iPhone facial tracking is just superior.
which I think is really good advice too for people like Space Cow who wants to get into it and have models that they're working on creating. There's a lot of cool things I think that not a lot of people think about. What cameras to use, stuff like that. So Space Cow, if you have any questions for Kaaya, feel free to ask. That's one of the reasons that we brought Kaaya on tonight, to find out more about a VTuber world that I find intriguing but know next to nothing about.
And the V-bridging tracking typically costs more. It's more time consuming with the facial tracking with it. I'm actually still waiting for another version of the model that doesn't use this type of tracking. So if I were to try to use just a regular camera, the tracking's like really bad.
I don't know why it's so entertaining just watching you just play around.
But you can't do this with a regular face cam.
The faces, I will say, the facial expressions are adorable.
So when does
I don't
Angela
know if I
become
can
the
do the
next
other one.
VTuber?
Oh God, I don't have the patience for that.
What's the one you said you don't know if you can
the
do?
one I showed you before that can like get banned.
Because
everybody gets it. Like everybody gets the face. Everybody gets it. So yeah, I just had to get it. How often I'll use it, I don't know.
Is that why so many VTubers are having issues with Twitch? Is facial expression, or?
Yeah, so if you use that in expression and have a sound that's sexual behind it, it will get you banned. Because Twitch is very like circumstance.
There's also, I don't know if they fixed it, but a couple of weeks ago we had my live stream D&D campaign had an issue with the host updated OBS to the most recent version and it crashed Twitch.
Weird.
OBS.
To the point where we lost like a good 45 minutes of playtime.
Which sucks for you, because I know that I'm guessing it's the Monday night group that starts late.
Yep. And it crashed right before midnight, and literally by the time everything got fixed up and running, we had about 10 minutes before myself and one of the other East Coast people were like, yeah, it's 1 a.m. We're going to bed.
Damn.
But the party is basically scattered across the U.S. So I don't know if VTubers have the same issues or OBS is just different across the board.
Oh, you update Windows and OBS sound settings get up every time. So makes me not want to update Windows. And I have to redo all my sound settings.
And if you go too long without updating Windows, that's its own problem.
Yep.
Technology. Love it and hate it.
Everything breaks.
Yep.
And go ahead.
I have the issue with my mic that gets, so my gain gets reset to 34 every time I restart my computer. So I have to reset it every time.
And for our viewers out there or listeners out there that are listening to us through the podcast format, I know you cannot see what we're seeing, the facial expressions and stuff that Kai is doing. So come over to YouTube, just search Anime-Zing Radio on YouTube, and you can see the character and everybody that we've had on the show. We appreciate everybody who listens to us via the podcast side of things, it continues to grow. It blows my mind the amount of countries that are tuning in.
For the record, I still have it up. We have listeners in the United Kingdom. We have listeners in Italy, and as of today, we have at least one listener in Poland, which
So
that was a shock to me.
Hats off to you. Thank you so much for listening to us. Hopefully you enjoy what we've been putting out there and continue to tune in. We continue to try to find amazing guests. Again, big thank you to Griffin Burns, who joined us earlier. And of course, a big thank you to Kaaya, who's joining us now, talking about VTubing, anime, music, random stuff. Now, knowing that the VTubing world is getting bigger, and it was made very apparent when they had the big announcement for Anime Boston earlier this year, with Holo Live Girls going to be there, virtually. I know Iron Mouse was at a panel with Connor in San Diego, virtually on a big screen and things like that. Has it surprised you to see how much it's grown?
Not really. I think it gives people more access to streaming.
Fun fact, in the Anime News Network news this morning, Hololive is getting its own manga for the fall.
I don't know why the ears going down on that just struck a chord.
But that was something I found very interesting. And I suppose that's just proof of how much that subset has grown.
And one of the cool things with like the VTubing, we've always seen people who have created their own character avatars, much like our logo with anime for for the logo for Anime-Zing Radio and everything. VTubing just is like, okay, we've taken a cute avatar picture and made it animated, and now people can actually become their avatar as opposed to just having the picture of it.
Yep. Like I PNG'd for a while before I got my model.
If I were gonna do something like VTubing, I probably would do use anime, our avatar girl.
Space Cow is asking, did you find the VTubing community pretty welcoming when reaching out to folks?
Very welcoming. Very. Like everybody has been so nice, especially the ones in the Discord I'm in.
How did you find a Discord server for VTubers?
So the one I'm in is actually all the siblings of my rigger. So anybody that's a client of smooth grading, smooth shading is in that Discord.
Gotcha.
But I know there are others out there, other Discords that you can join.
It seems like there's Discords for everything these days.
Yep.
And it's cool to know that people are out there and that it's such a welcoming. When you were reaching out to find out more about VTubing, that people are out there that genuinely wanted to help and are welcoming to new people coming in. Because you have some friends that I got to meet that also do VTubing.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to watch them lately because they typically were I think they were live on like Tuesday and Thursday nights, and I work my second job both those nights, so I haven't been able to watch them in a while. So tell them I'm sorry if they haven't seen me in the streams in a bit, but I work those nights now, so.
I've been able to actually catch a lot of people streaming.
It's tough when you work nights, and a lot of the streamers that you like to watch are also on while you're at work.
Especially you work like what, 2 jobs?
I work 2 jobs. Darren works 2 jobs.
Ange is just insane.
Ange works 1 job, but has so much other stuff going on that time is limited for her as well. Between preparing for trips and D&D campaigns and life, the universe, and everything else.
And getting the audio stuff up for this show.
Which Ange has been an amazing addition to the crew here with AZR, and basically been able to do something I couldn't figure out, and sometimes didn't really have the time to sit down and figure out, and that was how to get it into the podcast platforms. So again, I thank you for all the work that you've done behind the scenes. I thank Darren for all the work he does behind the scenes with getting information, keeping us up to date on news stories and stuff like that. I know he said he had an unexpected friend show up. They are going to see the Trash Taste podcast live tomorrow. Fun fact, Angela, you got to see the boys earlier this week.
Yup. And I'm purposely trying to not spoil shit because while I'm sure there's going to be some regional differences, I'm sure there's also going to be enough similarities where I don't want to say too much because I don't want to ruin it for Darren.
So basically, Darren, all that's going to happen is you're going to see 3 anti-tubers sit around and talk shit to each other.
Yup.
Instead of watching an edited YouTube version, they're just going to see it live in person.
Nope. Not saying anything. Not saying anything.
I do wish that I could have made it out there, but being the responsible adult at times, it was like I can't feasibly see losing basically 3 days pay.
If you had a passport, you probably could have gone to a Canadian show significantly easier than Boston.
Possibly, but I still would have been missing work.
That's fair.
And knowing that I had the trip to Syracuse this weekend, I figured that took a little bit higher priority where I didn't have to lose any pay. Granted, I spent quite a bit of money, but that was all money that was not accounted for to begin with, so.
No, that is fair. I I understand, and that's that whole adult nonsense.
And Ross says he's just a devil. That's a part-timer.
But I'm saying.
I think that would be me because I actually work in the fast food industry.
Darren just pops in and then gone again.
Yep. And he's not. I too spent way too many years working fast food.
Technically, in New York, Domino's is fast food because we get the same wages as the New York fast food workers, so $15 an hour. So I guess technically you can say I work fast food.
Fast food workers here don't get that unless they work overnight.
Yeah, that was a thing that was fought for in New York State, more for New York City, but because it's so expensive to live there. But all fast food workers start minimum wage at 15.
Minimum wage is still not $15 an hour here. It's gonna be real fucking soon.
Yeah.
But
now, what kind of animes outside of the idol shows do you enjoy?
More of a slice of life comedy type person. So, like Angel Beats, Conrad, Toradora.
Did you a couple seasons ago? Did you watch the show Blue Period?
I did not.
A really, really awesome slice of life about basically a guy that decides he's going to art school and just focuses on that. It's one of the few slice of life animes I really, really loved.
Casey actually just binged that this weekend. We got Netflix back, and so Casey binged that this weekend while working on art to prepare for AAC next weekend.
And Ross has a question for Kaaya.
For real question this time.
For
people that... Oh, go
for
ahead,
people
Amy.
that don't know much about VTubers or VTubing, what kind of rules are there for the community? Like, is this something that people should learn?
I don't know. Really. Don't go into other VTubers chat and promote yourself. But that's a normal rule for any streamer.
To oversimplify, I assume it's just don't break Twitch's rules.
Yeah, pretty much.
And also something people forget about, but be respectful when you're in a chat with other VTubers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just common sense.
You say that, but look at the world today. How many people have common sense?
Common sense is dead. Like me.
Fair.
Now, Darren, I know that you had your friend show up unexpectedly, but did you have any questions for Kaaya about the model or anything that they have done?
Not off the top of my head.
What do you think of the model?
Let's say, can you pan back out and show the full figure again? Very nice. Where did you get the idea for the uniform? Because it kind of reminds me of a certain show, and especially with the whole Neko appearance.
So my artist came up with this outfit, and I just told my artist to just make like a casual, like dress outfit. This is what she came up with.
Because Doug, doesn't it kind of look like Konako's school uniform?
Actually, now that you say that, it does. Oh my gosh.
If I'm not mistaken, that would be her summer uniform.
It does a little bit. I'm trying. I can't find like an exact replica of it, but I am.
From Ross, Darren, get your mind out of the Nekopara gutter.
but I'm not talking about Nekopara, Ross.
For once, he wasn't talking Nekopara.
No, I was talking about my show. It looks like Konako. It looks like Doug's favorite character from one of my shows.
And see, this is where our tastes and shows just differ to the point where I have no idea what you're talking about, and my response is, well, it's really cute.
What I will do is I will share my screen here, because I did pull up a picture of Konako, but I'm trying to find one of her in her cat form.
In her Nekomata mode?
Oh my god.
Well, hey, I about to say that.
And Kaaya had two of them on the screen at one. Yep.
I think I can do 3 without breaking the model. Let's see if I can do one more. We'll break it at one point.
Well, that's the goal of Anime-Zing Radio, is to cause technical difficulties and break stuff in some way, shape, or form.
Oh dear.
And the Kaayas keep on coming.
Okay, it's broken. This is what happens when you break your model.
Aw.
So you got 4 up there. The 5th one said nope.
Now, can you make them all dance in unison?
I've never tried that. Probably not, because this is a copy of the original model, not this one. Yeah, they just all just idle like this.
And Space Cow says hashtag Neko Army.
The Neko are coming. The Neko are coming. And I'm all for it.
It's mini me's.
So when you are streaming and not part of a collab, what games do you play or what kind of content?
So I've been playing Minecraft and Final Fantasy 14.
Nice.
Might have to try to join you. Now, when you're playing Minecraft, do you play with people or just on your own?
I usually play on my own. I have my own server.
Oh, that's cool.
Are you a build everything to perfection or chaos and mass destruction type of Minecraft player?
If you have OCD, don't look at my base. It's just do this here, then do this here, then do that there. It should be next to each other, but it's not.
I have been watching Achievement Hunter for almost 10 full years. And watching them play Minecraft weekly for a long time is entertainment. But that is pure, unadulterated chaos.
I play mostly modded Minecraft. I haven't played vanilla in a very long time.
I've never played Minecraft.
I play, like, when Casey and I play together, we have a realm and it's vanilla Minecraft. I don't have much in the way of modded stuff, but I also play on the Switch, not the computer, because my PC can't handle it because I have a POS computer.
Doug, we need to work on getting that fixed.
How long have you been saying this and it still hasn't come to fruition?
I think the first conversation we had about this was March.
I'm surprised you actually remember that.
I was at Micro Center yesterday, and that actually did come up with the person I was with. And I looked it up. That is the only reason I know that, because I was looking up something. I was looking up something else.
Oh, wow.
Why does it not surprise me? And Space Cow in the chat says, are you working on any specific projects in Minecraft right now?
Right now I'm playing all the mods 7 to the sky. And I'm just trying to progress at this point. Getting into different mods and trying to make my life easier, get into the mystical agriculture so I can just grow resources.
I've watched a lot of YouTubers who play modded Minecraft. One of the series that I watch, it's like 4 or 5 different YouTubers that are in the same series that they call Insane Craft. And it's amazing what people have been able to do with the game of Minecraft. The stuff that they're able to add in and the worlds that they can create. And it blows my mind how crazy Minecraft has gotten with all the mods and stuff. Like I have a few mods or add-ons that I got off of the Nintendo Switch store or the Minecraft store for the Switch, where I can play, where you break a block and you could get any. You chop a tree down, you're not going to get wood. You might get a door. You might get a diamond block. You might get a shovel. You just don't know what you're going to get when you start breaking stuff.
So it's like Rock Smash in Pokemon, where you never know what you're going to find.
Kind of.
Ross is asking Kaaya, is there any anime you're looking forward to watching this season that just started?
Gundam is amazing. Everybody should watch it. Bleach.
Yay! Someone agrees with me on Gundam.
Oh, I loved the Gundam. The second episode was awesome. The first episode was amazing.
I've only seen the episode 0 and episode 1.
The second episode dropped today. It was good.
No spoilers. She hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, but
Well, it
no,
ends on a cliffhanger, but
don't they all? But no, that's so good.
we have Bleach, which I either gonna watch it dark or just hit Hulu. I don't know yet. That comes out tomorrow.
You
I gotta look and see what shows I need to catch up on. I know this season, like the Crunchyroll side of things, Beast Tamer dropped yesterday, but I was in Syracuse, so I did not watch that. I probably, if depending on how awake I am after the show tonight, I may watch that. Uzaki season 2, I might watch that, or I might wait for it to come out dubbed because I watched the first season dubbed. Pop Team Epic, I'm gonna wait for it to be dubbed because that's how I watched the original. High Dive side of things, I've got to wait a couple of days. I did start Reincarnated as a Sword, of course. I also did start watching. I've somehow gotten stronger from my farm related skills, which is a weird one. It's been entertaining, but very weird. They had 2 episodes of that drop. Still got to wait for next episode of Shine Post, which I think that drops Tuesdays.
You forgot Spy Family.
Spy Family, I'm waiting on the English dub because I watched season 1 English. So I'm going to be behind on that, but because Casey and I watched that in English, we want to continue the trend.
Personally, I'm waiting on. I need to start Mob Psycho season 3, and I haven't started anything this season. I've been so dang slammed recently; it's not even funny. So we got to start that. Spy Family, the second core. Let's see what else we got. The Eminence and Shadow, I think I'm gonna pick up on. Reincarnated is what?
I was gonna say Eminence is on my list as well.
Reincarnated as a Sword is a maybe, probably not.
It's actually been kind of interesting, Darren. I think you would like it. I'm not gonna lie.
Beast Tamer, I think, is a maybe. Let's see. Kansai Collection is out. I did watch the first season, but I didn't enjoy it enough to watch season 2. More Than a Married Couple, definitely on my list. And then much past that, Rehab Flops, aka Love Flops, is on my list.
Chainsaw Man hasn't started yet.
Yep, Chainsaw Man hasn't started yet.
Oh, Chainsaw Man starts this week. It starts the 12th.
Nice. And then from last season, Isekai Oji-san, or Uncle in Another World, had to be put on hold, so they're rebroadcasting it from the beginning this season. And then from last season, I'm working on finishing my stepmom's daughter is my ex. Then I'm also working on finishing Call of the Night, which was one of my favorites last season.
Oh my god, that was amazing. Not gonna spoil it. I know somebody was nice and gave Angela some information so that she can go and watch it.
I will say this, Doug. I'm gonna warn you. We have added to the queue.
It's okay. I usually don't go by what's on the queue. I usually go through and just be like, okay, what am I watching? Okay, that dropped, this dropped.
But we set that up last night so I could watch Call of the Night and Eminence.
Yeah, let's see, what else am I finishing from last season? Sybil is a part-timer. Need to finish.
Oh, don't forget, I think
And
it was Pantheon you also wanted to watch, Angela, the one of the science
Probably.
fiction story.
Oh, that doesn't. Yeah, that sounds like me.
Because that one has dropped 7 episodes.
And it was only supposed to be 8,
Episode 8 coming up October 13th.
which means I can basically, which means I can watch that too.
You could sit down and almost binge the whole thing.
Who's
Which
to say I won't?
Which, ironically enough, where Casey is going to be vending at AAC this weekend coming up, and I'm going to be home with Evie, I am probably going to sit down and rewatch Shinepost in its entirety, because I know episode 11 drops Tuesday. The last episode is supposed to drop next Tuesday, so I'm probably going to binge everything in preparation to watch the final episode. I like it that much that I'm gonna binge it and be like, I just want to see everything as it happens and be ready for the last show. Sadly, I don't think it's one that we're gonna see a lot of cosplay from, like Love Live, but there should be.
But Doug, I need you on Overlord. Actually, I need to get back on Dungeon.
All right. Here's a question for you. Here's a question. Would both if we all actually finished Overlord and then all showed up at the same event dressed from Overlord,
Okay.
that was really where this was going, was ridiculousness.
About to say, who would we pick?
Pretty much.
For me, if I had to pick, it would be either Sebastian or maybe what was his name? Damn it! Or not Klein, but the other one. Oh, why can't I remember his name? Damn it! The blue-haired one, the one that was the other swordsman beside the head swordsman of the kingdom.
I don't remember. I'm trying to look up now some of the characters.
I just had to forget his dang name. Yeah.
I would probably. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if I would. It's tough because I like the Fiore twins, but the problem is Mare is a boy dressed as a girl, and Aura is a girl dressed as a boy.
Brain, that's it.
So it's like I don't know if I could pull that look off. Ainz would be a possibility because I do love the outfit, but I don't think I could ever do it justice like the cosplay that Darren showed me.
Yeah, I don't think really anyone could because he got it almost to a T.
Although Demiurge would be a possibility that I would cosplay.
Whereas I know that I would not be able to do any of those dresses justice.
About to say, I think you can pull Shaltir off.
I think she could do Shaltir.
Or at the very least, Evil Eye. With Evil Eye, all she has to do is wear a mask and a red cape that covers most of her body, and that's it.
See, I love the dress for Shaltir. I will say that.
I actually like Shaltir better than Albedo, and I know Albedo gets more love.
Not to say, or she could do Princess Renner.
Going back to Call of the Night, I will also say that the music for that anime is awesome. I don't know if Creepy Nuts does the whole soundtrack. I know they do at least the opening, ending, and one of the songs in the show, but I like their music, even though it's not my typical style.
There you go.
My wife is right there with you, Space Cow. Albedo, she's Albedo for life. I just like Shaltier better.
I'd say, I wonder if you can find the Overlord cosplay and pull it up on screen. Because I think I've seen it multiple times now.
And now we've started the chat going.
Oh Lord.
Shaltier, best girl squad. I blame Kaaya for that.
I have never watched Overlord. Oh,
Really?
nope.
Well, knowing that you are an Idol fan, who is your favorite girl from the Love Live series?
One you got up there.
Kotori?
Yep.
That is Casey's favorite of the original. I like Hanamaru from Sunshine. She might be my favorite of all of them. Although Superstar, there are some good characters in there too. Although I would have to say in like every season you have that annoying character that makes you think of Nico. Like I know in Love Live Sunshine it was Yohane.
Wasn't that annoying?
She
Awesome.
wasn't that annoying, but she, you know what I mean. She was kind of like the Nico of that group.
Yep.
I think of Superstar, I would have to give it to the internet girl, the last one that joins.
But she's a VTuber type person.
And there's our comment from the Peanut Gallery, aka the audience.
Ruby, best Love Live girl ever, hands down.
So the audience is just Ross at this point?
No,
we have Ross and Space Cow, and I know Mario was in there.
That was a joke since you said the peanut gallery, the audience. So I thought she was implying that the audience consisted of just Ross.
Nope.
No, but Ross has successfully broken us. At one point, Ross had comments that had all of us losing our shit.
Yep.
And please don't do that to me. It hurts enough just to cough.
Space Cow, I can't plug an idol waifu. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Well, I wasn't plugging a waifu. I was just saying my favorite character. So, and I don't know if I would classify any of the Love Live girls as waifus.
And I've never seen Love Live, so there's that.
Same here.
The only Love Live I could not finish was the third spinoff. It began with as like Love Live something with a K.
Yeah, I didn't finish that one either.
I was like, this is terrible.
Wasn't really a fan of it. And then you got Superstar with the third season coming.
Yeah, I was excited about that because I'm really enjoying Superstar. I thought that I almost, from what I've seen in the second season, I would almost say that I like it better than the original, especially where I went back and started rewatching the original. I'm like, I kind of like Superstar better.
I've had some really good songs. Really good songs.
But I still say Shine Post is better, and because of the ballad that Ryo-sama sings, I think she became my favorite character. And Ross says...
Now, my favorite overall idol from an idol anime is Chitose Haru.
I don't know who that is.
Neither.
Sounds familiar.
I
Idol
have not.
Master? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But I know, Kaaya, you have a convention coming up that you're going to be going to.
Yep, AAC.
So if you want to meet Kaaya, go to AAC and hunt her down with catnip.
I know a lot of my friends will be at AAC. Sadly, I will not be, as it just was not in the cards between with it being the week before we leave for a 2-week out of the country vacation.
Oh, English or music girls. So the anime music girls. I don't know who has that show. If that's a Crunchyroll or High Dive or.
Let's find out. It's on Crunchy.
It's on Crunchy?
Yep.
And I'm just getting messages from Casey, who will be at AAC. So if you're going to AAC, check out Artist Alley and stop by the Casey Fox table. Oh my God, I almost said the old studio name. The Casey Fox table, and say hi to Casey. She'll be there with all new artwork. So anything that you may have seen from them in the past. Definitely, got a lot of good stuff that Casey's been working on. So a whole new collection of art, some really cute stuff. So stop by the table, say hello, check out the artwork, and buy some stuff. Kaaya agrees, shaking her head yes.
And if you make it to the swap meet or the yard sale, the guy running both of those is a personal friend of mine.
So say hi to him and say Angela through the podcast.
Aunt Yell will just give me shit later.
That's part of the fun. It's I will say it's weird to be doing a 3-hour show. It has been a long time since I've done a 3-hour show. Consider the fact not when I first started, but when I was on Crossing the Void Radio, we were a 4-hour podcast or a 4-hour internet radio show that we had to fill every week. So it's weird to be like, oh, I know we just went 2 hours. I'm looking at the clock going 2 hours. Wait, it's only 9.
Yep. And we have segued to literally everything and nothing.
Correct.
Bum, bum, bum.
You can't time this stuff. Oh my God. Now, what's one of the things that you're looking forward to with AAC coming up as you get smacked in the head by random items?
Stuff. I can't wait to get affiliate. Actually use this. So for AAC, really just seeing people I haven't seen in a while. Maybe.
Actually, what is your promo time? What is your Twitch channel? And I will go ahead and follow you on my personal one.
It is exactly how my name is spelled. Twitch TV, Kaaya Tyanu. Same with my Twitter, and same with my Instagram, and with my TikTok.
Because definitely we need to get more people to follow Kaaya because the skin is adorable. Love the outfits. Just very, very cute avatar. And definitely got to watch and check out. You just got hit with a bike.
Yep.
I just I can't keep watching that.
If I had the Death Star model, I could get hit by the Death Star.
Okay, the
And
Star
people have
Wars
done
nerd.
that.
The Star Wars nerd in me is thrilled that that's an option.
Did you actually scale the models, make them huge, and the speed that they're thrown at?
Oh my god. It would be funny to see some of the random stuff that can get thrown. It just gives you ideas of just stuff that you could make. Now, the world of VTubing is open to all kinds of possibilities now, isn't it? Would you say that you're only limited by your imagination or the suggestions that your friends throw at you?
Yeah, and computer specs too. Don't do this with a potato computer, because doing even in the show right now, my CPU is running at 56%, my GPU at 49%. I'm using like half my RAM, and that's without playing a game.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I
Now-
definitely want a
it's
good
very,
computer.
very heavy CPU and GPU rated. It has to render the model and also move it.
A couple of more tech-related questions. One, are you using two screens with your PC?
Yes. I can never go back to one screen using two.
And two, did you build your PC yourself from parts, or did you just get a pre-built?
I built my PC. My second PC I ever built.
Because I know a fair number of people who like to do that stuff as a hobby. And subsequently, somebody built mine for me.
I love building PCs. Much fun.
So then let's all get together and build Doug a new PC.
One of the biggest problems with the PC I have, I can do the basic stuff. I can play some basic games, but I don't have a video card in
I was
this.
going to say, at one point, you didn't have a video card.
I still don't.
Oh, there's half your issue.
Yeah.
What do you have for a CPU? You know what
I
I
you have?
highly doubt he knows.
I have
Okay.
no idea because I went to a computer place, brought them 3 towers, and told them put together something that this is what I do, this is what I need, put together the best you can with the parts in here, and you can keep the rest.
Because I wonder if
And-
you can even use the newer GPUs. Because if you have an older computer and your PCI slot isn't one of the new ones, you can't use it.
I at this point I'd be better off just having a brand new system made
Yes. And
rather than trying to salvage this.
while I'm not going to actually get into numbers on air, we actually priced this out at Micro Center over the weekend. But on
Best
that
place
note,
to go.
and I live technically within walking distance.
I love Micro
From Space Cow, what other sort of hardware do you find necessary and or helpful for VTubing and streaming?
Well, it depends how much you want to spend. So a mixer would be nice to have. I use a Go XLR. A good microphone would be good. For tracking, if you can't afford, you can do normal video camera tracking, or use your Samsung phone. If you have an iPhone, use that. Especially if you have a newer iPhone, you can use the tracking I have. Good internet connection. Get a Stream Deck. That's what I do. So I have like all my toggles on my Stream Deck. So I don't have to have them on my keyboard. And I can move my model around just hitting a button. These are actually set to certain scenes in OBS that I have. When I go to different scenes, I can just move my model instead of have to actually going into VTube Studios and manually.
Well, that's cool. For microphones, I enjoy. I like the quality that the Blue Ice microphones put out. That's what I use. I have 2 of them. One for my home stationary setup, and one that I bring portable.
This is in fact one of them.
Yeah, I get a Tecna Audio microphone, so kind of an expensive one.
I was gonna say you could go a lot more expensive. These were
actually
both of these were gifted to me for like holiday gifts, but the quality has been really good.
Space Cow says that was very helpful. Thank you.
Like my build is expensive. Like, don't have to go this hard. You can get a Blue Yeti pretty cheap for like $100. Those are really good microphones.
I'd say I got in trouble with just the standard laptop microphone.
I don't know what you're talking about, Darren.
I know, like, internet connection's huge.
Yeah.
If you don't have good upload, you're just not gonna stream. But granted, with Twitch, when you're new, you don't. Your stream's not gonna look really good anyway.
I think that's one thing that a lot of people get hung up on too, is they want it to look as good as all those streamers who have thousands of viewers or millions of subscribers and such, and you don't realize that it took them a long time to get to where they're at. And when they started off with, the bare minimums.
Yeah. So with Twitch, like, they have certain encoding servers. You're not, like, if you're not an actual partner, you're not going to be on a good encoding server. You're not going to get the quality that you think you're going to get. And they get priority partners.
And Connor actually talked a little bit about that in one of his more recent videos. Was he started streaming for funsies, and it kind of blew up.
Yep. And don't expect that if you start streaming yourself. Like, don't go into it thinking I'm going to be this person. I'm going to, get a huge following. Doesn't always happen. I just do it for fun.
I think that's the key too, is if you're going to do it because you enjoy it. Kind of like with AZR. We do the show because we enjoy it. Would we love to see it blow up, become popular, have millions of views and millions of subscribers? Of course. But the big reason that we do this is we do it because it's fun. We love to talk to people. We love the interaction with the fans in the chat room and the guests that we get on the show. We by no means make money off of this show. The best that we get are perks of press or tables at conventions and things of that nature.
And yeah, I'll be honest. I found the YouTube recording of the first show I was on.
Yeah.
When I was going through all of the older stuff to kind of extract the audio. And it's been it's been one hell of an adventure.
Is it weird to look back at that and be like, that's where it started?
Yes and no. It's one of those things where I had no idea what to expect and had zero expectations.
And she still has zero expectations.
Well,
She still doesn't know what to expect.
Well, now I expect nonsense and shenanigans.
That usually comes from Darren when he's not dead.
I beg to differ.
And
You're the one
Ah, wrong
that
button.
basically tricks me into them.
I would
You-
never.
Well, Rusty was worse about it, so it's not totally your fault.
and it just it's been a lot. Thus far it's been a lot of fun. I've met I've met and talked to a lot of interesting people. I've gotten some interesting experiences, and hey, I find people who like the same weird anime that I do.
And me and Darren.
I've known you for a while.
Well, I just say that because you were talking about people who like the same anime you do, and then
Yeah, I
there's me
know.
and Darren who are like the
Yeah.
opposite end of the spectrum.
Yep. Hence, when I find stuff we agree on, it's worth noting.
Yeah. But sometimes it's still fun to make you roll your eyes when Darren and I go after, the best girl arguments.
And the isekai stuff.
And the High School DxD and the Love Live and the
I'm not going to name a certain show this time.
Yep.
yeah,
Ross says-
and that too. But
Ross-
NXT's reviewers was so good.
I swear I'm gonna remember one of these times to get a whiteboard and put notes up on the screen. Thank God Darren finally stayed alive.
About to say thanks, but okay, if that's the case, someone get the Bee Gees track up.
For copyright reasons, I don't think we can.
You can play 10 seconds of it. Because this is
and yeah, I know it's gonna be weird not going to AAC this year, but I figured it's best for Casey vending for the first time in 3 years if she didn't have to worry about an almost 5-year-old running around. So that's why we're staying back and have a friend that's helping her out. So definitely, like I said, if you are going to AAC, be sure to stop by the Casey Fox table, say hello, check out all the new artwork, stickers, and everything that's going to be there. And if you like the work, buy some art. Check out all the artists, not just Casey Fox's. I promote her because she's a sponsor, and we support our sponsors. Also, check out homecirclemedia.com. They got really good stuff. Lord knows I've bought too much stuff from Gavin.
And if you cannot buy art, at least the social media follows: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe, the whole 9 yards.
Now, of course, if you're new to our channel, if you're listening to us via podcast, like the podcast, subscribe to our Facebook or follow our Facebook channel, facebook.com/Anime-Zing Radio. If you want to support us, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/ or I think it's patreon.com/Anime-Zing Radio. Also, come to YouTube, search for Anime-Zing Radio on YouTube, and subscribe to the channel. We have been having a lot of fun growing the channel, getting to see new faces in the chat room. Love the interactions that we get. That is a big part of the show, and I want to see, the viewership continue to grow. Lots of amazing questions that come in during these shows. We have some of the most amazingly knowledgeable fans as well of animes, because Lord knows I get tripped up all the time, and the chat is right there to help with names of characters or shows if I can't think of it. And really, we love the interaction that we get from the fans out there. You guys are a big part of this.
And sometimes the chat is the cause of the shenanigans.
Yeah. I know, Andrew said that you missed the Smash or Trash episode when Ross completely derailed us, but it was one of the more epic times of chat interaction.
Yeah.
Now, Kaaya, we mentioned earlier that you were looking at having other outfits made. Do you have specific outfits in mind that you want made for the model, or is it more open of I want something like this, artist choice for the?
I was thinking like something like my character from Final Fantasy 14, but I'm not sure which glamour to use. There's a streetwear glamour, but I do want a maid outfit for reasons.
Break out Nekopara. Susie said maid outfits. Like I look over and I have, Coconut, who, my opinion, best girl of Nekopara.
Cinnamon.
And now we're throwing pumpkins.
Big
Yeah.
pumpkins.
'Tis the season.
Other figures that are within reach include
Apple is so much better than pumpkin, though.
Yeah, I agree. Apple, I don't like pumpkin, so we'll put Coach Reed back up there. But having fun with the random figures that are
Go
within
Apple.
reach. Up next will be a whole apple pie.
Throw myself at myself.
You missed.
And a bike.
Bicycle. Lollipops?
The stuff that you can do, it's very interesting to see the random things that you can do.
And there's Angry Kaaya.
Yep. Like all the models that can be thrown as a whole Halloween.
Or just bring Kaaya up on the screen here, so
Bunch of myself at me.
Well, all right.
And Ross in the chat says, okay, I get I'm weird for liking Anna from Shimonetta. People will look at me like Shania Twain and say that don't impress me much,
But Blue Snow was so much better.
Anna was just a weird character.
But then again, so was the short girl.
I was going to say the chick that draws with her mouth.
Yes.
I am so confused, and that's okay.
You never watched Shimonetta, really?
Really?
I don't know. I don't think that the concept would impress her, even though I think she would enjoy it just for the nonsense of it. Shimonetta, a boring world. Basically, it's a world where they can't make sexual jokes or gestures because
they have monitors around their necks, and if they do, they get arrested.
Is that the one with the nectar cookies?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I know that's there. Okay.
Yeah, no.
That's the one where you had White Peak, the Anthony Bowling's character, who's all dressed in underwear, like head to toe, is just dressed in panties.
And then you had a girl covered in a cloth with panties on her face.
And Space Cow is listening to this and saying that they would 100% get arrested.
I think you would get arrested too, Ange.
And
Yeah.
for my language, probably. Sexual content, not so much.
We all know you, Darren, would be the biggest culprit.
Not really. I don't crack jokes like that, believe it or not.
I know, that's why I said that. That's like saying Ainz is a great leader because he's smart.
You don't know what he's doing, though.
That's kind of the point.
That's the point. That's why we named our cat Ainz, because he's orange and has one brain cell he shares with all the other orange cats in the world. Usually it ain't his turn. He's the good boy because he's too stupid to cause trouble. You know? Angela just shakes her head.
But has he gotten on top of the refrigerator yet?
No, neither is Haru. Are you kidding? Ainz won't jump from the floor to the windowsill.
Scaredy cat?
He's a pretty princess.
My mother's... The cats we had in the house when I was finishing college, they were sisters. One of them was the troublemaker. One of them was the good one. And then one of them jumped from the floor to a chair to the counter to a higher counter and eventually got to the top of the refrigerator and would just sit there. And my mother would get so annoyed.
That would be Haru who would do something like that. But usually she doesn't even get on the counter because if we see her on the counter, she gets off of there really quick.
My cat probably would have too. I lost count of how many times she jumped up on the top of my roof in my truck while I was sitting there and then climbed onto my side view mirror. If I had my window down, she'd actually climb in the window. And then if I rolled the window up, she wouldn't know what to do.
The real question is, how many times has Kaaya jumped up on top of the refrigerator?
What about the fence behind her?
Here we go.
Or the building in the background.
Good God.
No, she's a giant.
Attack on Titan style.
As small as I can go.
What's the biggest that you can go with the model?
That big.
Now, question, when it comes to the facial expressions, have you got a camera mimicking your facial expressions, or is it totally controlled by the way you move your mouse, or how is that controlled?
It's a camera, so I use an iPad with mocap. So it tracks all my facial expressions, and then I use VBridger on my computer with YouTube Studios. Relay it.
Okay.
For the run it, I have, VBridger, VBridge Studios, and I have my iPad with the mocap running. I'm running like 1, 2, 3, 5 programs right now.
I'd say, and how many gigs of RAM do you have?
I have 32. I'm using 16 of it right now.
I can't remember if my computer has 16 or 32, but I do know, let's see, mine was either 16 or 32 gig RAM, terabyte solid state drive with a 3060 NVIDIA graphics card, and AMD 9, I want to say.
I got a Ryzen 7 2700X. I got the graphics card is a 2070. My CPU runs around like 51%. This is with no game right now. Actually, I had an issue with 14 this week. I don't know why. Where I was running the game and my GPU was running at almost 100%.
Oh wow.
So I had to cap the frame rate to 60 in 14 for to even run with everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But that I think that's a lot of good information too for like Space Cow who wants to get into it, and I think there are questions out there other people have about the VTubing community, how to get started, things of that nature. So again, thank you for coming on. You've given us a lot of really good information.
On that note, Doug, my friend Matt that showed up earlier, the one we talked to a while back that visited Japan, he's also, once he gets his roommate out, is going to be building his studio for VTubing as well.
Oh, that's cool. Space Cow says runs to check computer specs.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do that on
And
mine.
you should just go to your start menu and should be in your about computer folder, or I know they used to make it a lot easier with the older computers.
I know if you just go to my computer, right click, usually you can just select it from there. Mine shows in Task Manager.
Not to say my computer doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, no, it does not. Task Manager, that's what I'll have to try. Because I know my computer's new.
Oh, I forgot. I got AMD Radeon software. Windows system, Windows except Windows administrator. Tip settings.
All right, so my computer, it says, see everything that's on here. It's showing.
Okay, I got it. Processor. Basically, you go to for me, you open your start menu, then you go to settings, then you go to about.
Yeah.
And then that'll give you all your specs.
Yeah, I just found mine. I have an AMD Ryzen 3 processor. 16 gigabytes RAM installed. System type 64-bit operating system.
All right, settings.
I got
I hear the oh god, so Rob's already
Kaaya's already holy crap.
Yep. Oh, I'm in the same.
I have AMD Ryzen 9 5900 HS with Radeon graphics 3.3 gigahertz.
I got 3.5 gigahertz.
16 gigs of RAM, 64-bit operating system. I got a terabyte solid state drive. And like I said, I got the NVIDIA 3060 graphics card.
Yeah, I can't find how to get that on my machine.
You have Windows 10, right?
Yes.
Go to your start menu, then go to settings, and then click about.
There is no about.
Yeah, there is.
It's all the way at the bottom.
Under your settings.
No.
Can you share your screen?
So you go to settings, you click on system.
Yeah.
Once you click on system, you have display, sound, notifications, and all that stuff on the left-hand side.
Oh, there we go.
At the bottom, it says about.
There we go. AMD Ryzen 5, installed RAM 16, but I also know there's a second drive in there, 64-bit operating system.
So basically what we're finding out is the 3 computers we're using could not handle the program that Kaaya has.
Oh,
I think Angela's might be able to.
mine probably could with not ideally, but I
think once
do
you ran a game, you'd run into problems.
Let me put it this way, Doug. I was able to play Cyberpunk 2077 at launch with 0 adjustments to settings, with 0 game-breaking bugs. And that game the launch was so much of a shit show that Sony pulled it from the PlayStation Store for quite some time.
I can play Genshin Impact. I am surprised that the computer will handle that.
I'm not sure what I can do on this because I haven't tried much of anything. Even though I have the specs for a lot of stuff, I don't actually use it as the gaming laptop it actually is.
Now, where we had a Genshin Impact voice actor on before you came on, Kaaya, is it Genshin a game that you've looked into playing or have tried? Or
I've tried. I would not probably play it anymore. I'm not really good with gachas. I tend to stay away from them.
do you stay away from them because you are tempted to spend money and
Yep.
don't want to?
Why I quit PSO Fantasy Star Online, because I just kept spending money. I think I spent like $500 on that game just for outfits.
Wow. The only money I've ever really spent on a video game was back when Adventure Quest was still a thing. I think that was the only money I ever spent.
And I tend to not spend money, like, with how big I got into Animal Crossing. I know that there's an expansion you can buy, and I'm like, I don't need it.
And continuing Ross's hashtag barrage.
Barbara, Mona, Klee, Kiki, best girls of Genshin. Well, Amber's cute. Amber was a cute character. That's why I had to get the autograph from the voice actor. And then I don't know if I showed this one on stream, but with Sean Chiplock being there, my wife wanted to get a autograph.
Ross admits he's never played, just knows the characters.
Wow.
I've only played an hour and a half, so I'm not much better. And you seem to know more characters than I do.
I don't know any of them.
I know the ones that we've interviewed and some of the ones that I met at the cons, because Genshin seems to be huge that they're bringing in voice actors.
Left, right, and center.
Genshin's very big. There's an anime coming too, right?
Yep. That officially got announced.
I don't know what surprises me less, the fact that Genshin's getting an anime, or that the VTubers there have a manga that's going to be made about them. I think I'm more surprised about the VTubers getting a manga than Genshin getting an anime.
I'm not going to lie, when I saw that this morning, when I saw the HoloLive getting a manga announcement this morning, I was actually very surprised.
Yeah, I think that surprises me more than Genshin getting an anime. I knew it was only time.
Genshin getting an anime was a foregone conclusion with how popular it is.
I just hope that they do a good job with it, because I'll be honest, I would be interested in watching it based off the character designs. A lot of the characters are really well designed. It'd be cute to see what kind of storyline or pathing that they would take, if it would be similar to the game or something completely new. I also hope that they do bring in the original voice actors for the anime, and both Japanese and the dubbing side. And Space Cow says, do we know if it's a specific HoloLive group featured for the...
Pulling it up now.
Well, yeah, because it's different groups.
That's what I'm trying to load. I'm trying to load the article.
I would say it would be like Gura, Kirara.
On Mitsu Okada's Hollow X Meeting manga is part of the Hololive franchise and features the Hololive 6th generation Secret Society Hollow X group. The first generation of Hololive performers debuted in 2018. Blah blah blah.
And the manga is going to be put together by Square Enix. Manga is titled Hollow Earth Chronicles Side E.
And Hollow X Meeting debuts November 1.
And I'm going to share my screen here because I did see a little blurb about it, and I don't know if people know who these characters are, but these are the two that they show in the article. So I'm not sure who they are. I don't know much about the Hololive universe, but man, the characters are cute. And Ross says if it's Square Enix, we're in trouble. Not all their anime is great. You could say that about most anime studios, though. They don't all hit home runs with every show they produce.
Yep.
But there are studios out there that do put out, more anime that's better than others, or more better quality anime.
Well, don't forget, Studio Dean used to be knocked for their quality on animation there for a while, but the shows they put out are quite good. And of course, their poor quality animation in many cases was synonymous with Konosuba.
And with Konosuba getting a season 3, are we going to see the same poor quality animation as the first 2 seasons, or is it going to get better?
We'll find out. Don't forget, the movie was done by JC Staff, and actually, ironically, me and Matt we went to go see that in theaters, and that was the last time I went to a theater.
I don't remember what the movie was the last time I went to a theater. That being said, I don't know if I want to know.
I was at a movie theater semi-recently.
I know the only anime movie I saw at a theater was Girls in Panzer de Film.
I want to say my most recent trip to a movie theater was for a Marvel movie.
Marvelous.
I watched Across Frontier movies theaters.
That's another show I should go back and finish.
It's supposed to be, because Big West, they made that agreement releasing it on Blu-ray. Right Stuff's going to distribute it.
Years upon years ago, I watched parts of Macross Frontier, really enjoyed it, and then hit a really bad period of life, and then never went back to it. But I remember really liking it.
And I can get rid of that. I can get rid of that. I have so many tabs open. It's ridiculous. That's what happens when I do these shows. Like when we had Griffin on, I had 3 tabs open just on his stuff, so I could see characters, see what shows, and things of that nature.
Space Cow bullied their local theater into getting Fate Stay Night Heavens.
Feel 3?
Yes.
How do you bully your theater into getting an anime movie?
I'd like to know that too.
Although that being said, the One Piece movie, I don't know if you guys saw this, but over the weekend, Times Square for an hour, every electronic billboard was One Piece themed.
Considering New York Comic Con, I'm not surprised.
Oh, yeah, New York Comic Con is happening. I just saw Crunchyroll's little story.
I know Anthony Bowling was there. He posted that they had like a huge One Piece cast panel. And now, personally, I've never seen a single episode of One Piece. I've never been interested in watching it, but it is really cool that they got Times Square to do that. I'm sure that wasn't cheap, because that's a lot of billboards in Times Square that you need to have working in unison like they did. But hats off to them getting it done. I think that just goes to show how mainstream anime is becoming in this day and age, where back when we were all just starting to get into it, you couldn't find anything. You had to like black market stuff.
Fan
And
subs.
yeah. And like I said, when I went to go visit my sister in July, we were at a food hall, and the bar had two TVs side by side. One was showing a baseball game, and the other was showing Demon Slayer. And then at on the other end of at the other side of the aisle was K-pop music videos. And my sister just looks at me. Of course you notice this.
It's like I think it was last year or a couple years ago, we went to Burlington and we went to a ramen shop and they had anime on the TV in the ramen shop. Which I thought was very fitting, but I was kind of surprised. I was like, that just seems like very stereotypical, but I commend them for just going with it and putting it. I don't even know what the anime was. It wasn't anything I had seen before. It wasn't even a mainstream one. I was like, they have anime on in the ramen shop. That just like is way too fitting with how much ramen you see in anime.
Yep. I wish I liked ramen.
I've never really had ramen, to be honest with you.
I tried ramen in Japan when we
Well,
went.
I'm about to say, I'm sure that's a whole different.
It was different. I've had it in Japan as well.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it here. I didn't like it in Japan.
I was okay with it. I just don't like. I hate how they put like celery and stuff in it. I don't like the crunch.
That's another thing that it just popped into my mind about you've gone to Japan and knowing how big into the idol world you are. And I know that you have bought those light sticks that we see in every idol anime or every anime that is music altogether. What is it like to be a part of that world? Like we saw Asuka at Anime Boston, and just seeing that section of people with the light sticks just going in tune with the music, and everything has its own color and stuff like that. How do you know which colors go with what songs and stuff?
There are guides that will tell you, and usually the voice actress or they will tell you. So I've watched like lives, like Banjury. I've watched Pop and Party, and they'll actually explain it to you at the beginning. Like just you do this and this and this. They have you do it. It's a different experience.
I think that's one thing that blew me away about the Asuka concert. I didn't really know her songs. So getting to see, my first Japanese concert, and then to see how everybody working with the light sticks and stuff, I was like, I kind of want one of those, even though I don't know what I would do with it. But it was just amazing. Like that whole section. And Ange, I know that you can vouch that was just as entertaining as the concert.
Oh yeah, it was the energy, the ambiance. It was, oh my god, epic. And
personally, the experience blew me away to the fact I've been to a lot of concerts in the U.S. I've seen a lot of different style of bands, everything from the Beach Boys to Sugar Ray. And the Asuka concert was like nothing I've ever experienced before. It was amazing.
now, outside of that, have you seen any concerts performed by not American artists?
That's for
That's for you more than anybody, but
me.
yes.
Outside of Asuka, I had never seen a concert of a band that's not U.S.
Because I realized that I have done 5 concerts this year. Not a single one was an American artist.
Well, no, they weren't on tour this year, but I wouldn't mind going to see AC/DC, and they're not American.
I would also love to see AC/DC.
Angus, I think they said Angus was talking about they're going to be touring in 2023.
And but no, the last concert I went to was actually a Japanese pop band, rock band. Really, really good show.
And I know it was answered in chat, but Ross was asking, did we know that My Dress Up Darling is getting a second season? Yes, we are excited for that. We get to see more of Best Girl of 2022. And I am still going to stand by my guns on that one. Marin, in my opinion, has been Best Girl of 2022 thus far.
I want to make an argument for Your
would be Best Waifu. Marin would be Best Girl.
Especially
because there are things you could get away with Marin that you couldn't get away with Yor because she would kill you.
And my personal favorite got delayed and isn't going to be out until January.
Of course, because how could you not love a girl that has no idea what she's doing and an enormous turtle?
I maintain Maple as Best Girl, but season 2 of Bofuri got delayed until winter.
And winter, I think, technically starts 2023 season.
Correct.
So, unfortunately, we do have to wait on that, but.
And wow, we really did ramble for 3 hours.
We did.
And you're surprised.
I am and I'm not.
I streamed the other day for 6 hours. Didn't even know it.
That was me at a convention earlier this year. Well, not that I didn't know it. I planned on doing 6 hours Saturday, 6 hours Sunday at the table. I was like, I'm not doing that again. Although I think it's different. And,
just play Minecraft. Time just doesn't exist.
Oh, I agree with that. I drove out to Syracuse Friday night after work. Got to the hotel about 11. Once I got checked in, settled, obviously from the caffeine that I consumed to get out there driving at night in the rain on a bunch of back roads. I wasn't able to fall right asleep, so I decided, I'm going to do this in Minecraft. And I built a semi-automatic tree farm in vanilla Minecraft with its own collection system and stuff, and shut the game off. I was like, okay, I got that done. Time to go to bed. I looked at the phone. It was almost 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, crap, the alarm's going to go off at 7 so I can get ready to go to the gaming con. And those who know me know that I'm a railroad fanatic, and I saw 17 trains in 2 days this weekend out in Syracuse, including some nice surprises. A heritage Amtrak locomotive with the early generation Amtrak red, white, and blue stripe, and then a Amtrak Jeep 38 that was third engine on a freight train. Which those who know trains understand. Those who don't, I'm talking gibberish.
Doug, all I'm going to say is we found a YouTube channel of a Canadian train enthusiast who has been documenting his train journeys. And we've been following his journey across America. And the channel is Downey Live.
Interesting.
And he does, on his journey across America to get to Alaska, he's done like the old, like some really old, some really interesting trains.
That's cool. I do have to throw a shout out to Ben Ackley, who I actually got to meet at the Retro Game Con in Syracuse. Ben was a past guest here on the show with Ackley Attack TV, so it was great getting a chance to meet him in person. We chatted for a little bit. I'll be honest, I did not expect to run into anybody I knew at Retro Game Con. So if you're interested in checking out his channel, Ackley Attack, you can find him on all social medias. He's on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. So just search for Ackley Attack TV. Also want to throw a shout out, and this is going to be a weird one. We got to meet Sean Chiplock at the con, and he was selling candles. His wife makes candles, and of course I had to buy one because a very weird pitch that he threw out to a cosplayer. A woman was cosplaying as Evie, and he yelled out to her, "Hey, come over here and smell yourself." They had a candle that was semi-based off of Evie. It was a coffee-scented candle, so just him yelling that to her struck us all as hysterical. So I want to throw a shout-out to the Batwix Candle Company. You can find them on Etsy. It's etsy.com/shop/Batwix Candles, and that's BATWIX, and then candles. To check out everything that they have. He said every con he has gone to, he has sold out of all the candles that he has brought. So I'm hoping that he was able to do that this weekend. I wasn't there today, so I don't know how well he did. It was about a 4.5 hour drive from Syracuse back home. So I'm crazy enough to go to a con, leave early, come home, and then do a show that night. After that, the last two cons I've gone to, CCE and then Retro.
Yep.
That's complete and utter insanity and dedication. But I just heard the clock go off, so we are out of time. Once again, we want to thank everybody who has tuned in tonight. Before we go, though, of course, Kaaya, we want you to be able to promote yourself anywhere people can find your avatar, your streaming sites, follow you on social media, and any conventions you have coming up where people can meet you. We call this our shameless plugging.
Plug.
Shameless plugging section. I can tell I'm tired. The floor is yours.
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. It's all the same. Kaaya Tyanu. But twitch.tv, Kaaya Tyanu, Twitter, Kaaya Tyanu. Same with TikTok, Instagram. I'll be going to AAC this weekend. Be there all weekend. I cannot wait. Finally get some time off from work too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, big thank you to Griffin Burns, who joined us in the first hour. It was fun chatting with him as well. Thank you again to all of our listeners. Thank you to Darren and Angela for joining us tonight. Darren for staying awake. He didn't die. This is a new record for Darren. He stayed up for a 3-hour show.
Granted, for Darren, it was a interrupted show.
True. However, I didn't fall asleep afterwards.
Yeah, true. He didn't fall asleep.
So until next week, when we welcome Dan Flanders on the show, Manic Dan from Manic Mart, talking some cool Halloween type stuff, spooky, crazy stuff, because here we are in October. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Also, as a reminder, October 23rd, we have Christy Rothrock coming on for a Halloween special. Christy said she might dress up in a costume for us, so that could be kind of fun. And I might dress up in costume. I don't know. It might be fun to dress up as Kobayashi and talk to a Lulu.
Yay, then we can watch another fight.
Only if you dressed as Toru.
And I'm not going to be there, so, you know.
Because you're going to be traveling.
Yep.
And I don't think Darren would dress as Toru, so.
No.
I'd probably do Fafnir first.
Would you rather, Darren, dress as Toru or Nico?
Oh, God, here we go.
Option C, none of the above.
On that.
But if I had to pick, I'd probably pick Toru.
On that lovely note.
Everybody have a wonderful night. Enjoy your week. We'll see you again right here for more Anime-Zing Radio on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Until then, have fun.
Good night, everybody.